I just wanted to ask a question. Basically, this is my second chance at the final interview. What should I prioritize? Obviously, I've done the work previously. I'm getting kind of stuck what to prioritize now on the second attempt because I've done it first. They said let me down was two things. One was that I gave an example that wasn't recent, and number two was the fact that I answered the rape question wrong. I think I spoke to you about that, whereby I said that I would give the person a second chance when apparently you don't get a second chance if you've given information out at a party. In that situation, you would automatically be sacked. I wasn't aware of that. So it's just having the confidence not to be bamboozled by a question because people who I know were surprised that I was asked that question.
All right, this was for Kent, was it? Kent, Kent, no?
No, this is for Essex.
Essex. I knew it's that part of the world. I think it was, sorry, I was going to go, my next guess was going to be Essex, because I do remember this. So, yeah, an unusual question about you disclose some information about a rape case at a party, and the next day it's in the local newspapers. Yeah, I just fall on my sword.
Yeah.
I just fall on my sword because you've committed the most heinous of data breaches. So yeah, really weird question that. Okay, well, we can take a look at that, Denise. When's your interview?
Haven't got a date yet because they're asking me to wait till the 1st of June for allocation. So I'm looking at July because I'm completely booked out for June now.
Okay, all right, cool.
Work-wise.
So yeah, I had this with a client today who wanted to, I was doing a one-to-one with a client today, one of our academy members for the final interview, and they wanted to give me an example from like 15 years ago. No, they want recent examples. So you've got to give examples that have got some recency. Because the thing is, you know, if you think back, for those of you who are old enough, like 15 years ago, I was a very different person. I really was, seriously. And if I cast my mind back to like 20 years ago, I was a right dick. Seriously, I was 20 years old, and I was a dick. I look back on my 20-year-old self and think, was that really me? Seriously, was that really me? How could you have been such a doofus? And it wasn't until I joined the police that I got a grip of my life. I was all over the place, seriously. It was my granddad who sat me down and said, join the police like your Uncle George, or join the Royal Navy because you seem to enjoy the reserves of the Navy. Either way, sort your act out. And he gave me a good kick up the big boy pants, and I'm so grateful he did. Bless his soul. He's passed away now. So where am I going with this? Yeah, Denise, you can't use examples from like years and years ago. They've got to be recent. You've got to be recent. And the weird rape question, everyone will be thinking, what the hell was that all about? It is weird. I'm hoping Essex have got rid of it now, because seriously, what is this question all about? It was asking them, what would you do in this following scenario? So there's different types of forward-facing questions. Some are, how would you go about doing prioritizing, breaking down barriers in the community? Others are where they give you a scenario and say, here's a scenario, how will you deal with it? And this scenario was, quite frankly, ridiculous. So as a detective, you're at a party, and a person who seems very interested in you and genuinely interested in you is talking away and asking you questions about your role. And they seem really good at asking questions, so good that you actually disclose some information about a current rape case. And the next day you wake up and it's all over the local news. It's on the local newspaper, front page. A detective was quoted as saying, and they're quotes from you. And you look at the journalist's name and you think, holy shit, I was talking to them last night at the party. The quotes, they're from me. And they're quotes about a vulnerable person who's involved in this rape case. What would you do? I'd resign. I mean, we've all talked about it. My academy colleagues, we've talked about it. I'd throw the towel in. I'd just go straight to my boss and just like fess everything, fess up completely, and put myself at the wisdom of the leadership within the service. But I can pretty much guarantee this: you'd be out. You'd be out, because that's a breach of trust. So it's such a weird question, and I don't know who came up with it. Honestly, some of the questions I've seen over the years from police forces, College of Policing's questions tend to be a bit bland. But forces sometimes come up with the weirdest of questions. Like there was another force that had a death message that they give you a scenario where someone's come off the motorbike and has been killed, been all mashed up, and you've got to go and tell the mother that their son's died. How would you go about doing that? I mean, seriously, what on earth? Who came up with that nonsense? What on earth are they trying to test? So this one, I don't know what this one's trying to test, because quite honestly, I would just like give up, because you're going to get sacked. You're going to get sacked for a breach of trust. You're going to get sacked. It's a really serious gross misconduct, man. Breaching someone's confidentiality, especially someone who's a victim of rape. We're all in agreement, and one of our future members on the academy team is a very, very senior officer in a vetting department in a very big force. I can't say what force it is or who they are just yet, but they were just like, yeah, they'd be out. Gross misconduct, out. So Denise, if you're watching this and listening to it, weird question. It's such a weird question. What I'd do is I'd talk about that, and then I'd talk about how I wouldn't even disclose that in the first place and the reasons why, and then talk about the code of ethics and your responsibility to victims to keep their circumstances confidential, and the impact that's going to have on the community and specifically on rape victims. So I'd go down that road. What a strange question. Honestly, Essex, get a grip. It's just like weirdest question ever, that. So there we go.